the organs and the mechanisms as much today. We're going to go into what goes into your digestive system. So looking at the PowerPoint up here, what are we talking about today? Food, right. Food goes in your digestive system. So we're going to start with a little activity with the people sitting around you. So does everyone have a piece of paper they can get out or something that they can write on? Try to with the person sitting next to you, behind you, if you want to make a small group. I just want you to make a list of what you have eaten today. So if you had breakfast, what did you eat for breakfast? And since we're before lunch, if you know what you're going to have for lunch, I want you to write that down too. So I'll give you a minute to do that, okay? If you need to share a piece of paper with a partner, that's fine. Just have a list ready to go because we're going to use this list for the next few questions. Yes, drinks count. Anything that has gone into your body today, you can write it down. Yes. Yeah, so if you had anything for breakfast, you can write that down. And if you know what you have for lunch, let's say you packed your lunch, if you know what you're going to have for lunch, you can write that down too. Just so you have a longer list to go off. Yes. You can write down any drink you had, so if you have some water, some juice, some milk, go ahead and write that down. When you're done with your list, just throw your hand up for me so I can see who's ready. Awesome, so we have a few more people working. Take your time. All right, so it looks like we have the majority of the people ready. So we're going to go on to the next question. I'm going to ask you why. So with someone next to you, I want you to discuss why you ate what you did. Is it because you just love having that food? Did your parents tell you to eat it? Just discuss why you ate it, okay? So I'll give you 30 seconds to do that with the person next to you. And if you need a partner, raise your hand, I'll come talk to you. See a partner? All right, so why did you eat that? What you guys left?
I never ate breakfast. I really taste all those salts. They're like, it's juicy.
Alright, 6th grade, we can bring it back up front real quick. It sounds like we had some good conversations about why you ate what you did today. So for my next question, why do you think it's important what you eat? Yes.
Because you need to stay healthy, and if you eat things that are bad for you, then like you won't be as healthy and you won't like live as long or good of a life.
Yep, that's a great answer. So for your health, how about back here?
Because if you, if the things that you eat, like if you're not eating enough like sugar, your blood sugar could go really low, and that could cause problems.
That's a great reason. Another health reason. How about up here?
Like you need energy for the day.
Bingo, energy is a great one. One more?
Also like so you're not starving to death.
Perfect. So what we eat is important for the most part is because it fuels us throughout the day. So by raise of hands, how many of you play a sport or you're pretty active every day? Or you have PE class every day? So that's everyone. Now if you don't eat food, you're not going to have the proper fuel to get through PE class, to get through school, to get through that game you have. You know, I'm an athlete, and before I have a game, every time I make sure I have a nice, healthy breakfast and a good lunch before my game, because if I don't have enough fuel in my body, I'm not going to be able to perform to the best of my ability. I'm going to be tired, I'm going to be sluggish, and if you don't eat enough before you get to school, you're not going to be able to learn to the best of your ability. So that is why what we eat is important, okay? So we're going to go back to those lists real quick. Today we're going to talk about the food groups. So, if you have any prior knowledge of the food groups, I want you to take the list that you have and try to group the food into those groups. If you don't know anything about the food groups, I want you to pick similar foods that you think are alike and group them together, okay? I'm going to give you a minute to do that. So you can work with a partner. If you need help, use your minds, work together.
You want to do drinks?
Dairy.
Like cheese.
Cheese is made out of milk and milk is dairy. Milk is also dairy. You could just buy real milk.
You would just like stick their head in a park. You would technically get in a park. It's okay if you don't have enough food for each food group, because I know some of you only wrote your breakfast. Yes, you have a question?
Yeah, oh, this is fruit.
We can do drinks with water.
No sugar. So we're not really worried about sugar right now. We're thinking about more
I can't do berry.
So the berry will get you what? Yes. Yes. So fruits and then the muffin. What do you think the muffin will get you?
Sandwich. Oh,
You can
my
probably get
bread.
some
My mom,
But think about like bread.
she gets anything other than water. She gets orange juice. That's what I get.
Similar to it, but we're gonna cover it, so don't you worry, all right?
It's gonna give me a heart.
Food group with cereal. Cereal grain.
There you go. Your classmates are helping you out.
What would a mint be?
You eat your toothpaste? That's true. Don't worry about the mint right now, okay? Cereal, we're going to address it. All right, so 6th grade, we're going to bring it back up. So we're going to talk about the food groups today. The main objective of this class is to be able to recognize the 5 food groups, because when you know your 5 food groups, you're going to be able to plan your own meals. So the objective of today is to be able to plan a healthy, well-balanced meal so that you can live a healthy, well-balanced life, okay? So we're going to start with the 5 food groups as our main content today. You just made those lists. Now, before I show you the 5 main food groups, does anyone want to raise their hand and give a shot at what they might be? Right here.
All of them?
You can give it. Let's give me one.
Dairy.
Dairy, that is one right here. Fruits. Green. Vegetables. I got one more. Red t-shirt. Protein. Perfect. Our 5 food groups: veggies, fruits, dairy, grains, and protein. I'm going to go into each one. I need you to keep those lists out because I'm going to ask you examples for each group. So we're going to start with vegetables. Looking at your list, who has an example of some vegetables that they've eaten? Green t-shirt.
Me.
Yes.
Oh, wait. Cucumbers.
Cucumbers, that's a good one. Anyone else? Right here?
Pickles.
Pickles. You know that's actually a cucumber too, which is a pickle. Back there.
Carrots.
Carrots. One more. Oh, salad. That'll get you a lot of veggies. Okay, so just some general examples that I have. Fruits are actually split up into their own categories. So your leafy greens are going to be your broccoli and your spinach. Your orange and red veggies are going to be your carrots, peppers, and sweet potatoes. Black beans are their beans are in their own category. And then your starchy greens are going to be your peas, Brussels sprouts, white potatoes, and then onions are just kind of other. They have their own category. So the thing about food groups is that you should be trying to eat them every day. Your daily average is going to be dependent on how old you are, whether you're a male or a female, and how active you are. So the information that I have here, I have a daily average for boys and girls ages 9 to 13, but this is based on someone who is active for 30 minutes per day. So if you are active more than 30 minutes per day, this 2 to 2.5 cups is going to be a little bit higher. Or if you're less active for less than 30 minutes per day, it might be a little bit lower, okay? Does anyone have any questions about vegetables? Are we ready for fruits? All right. So fruit, let's look at that list again. Let's see some examples. Yes?
Strawberries.
Strawberries.
Apples.
Apples.
I was gonna say grapes.
grapes, that's another one right here.
Watermelon.
Watermelon. You guys looking at my pictures, aren't you?
No.
That was
banana
for Halloween.
Oh, really? Bananas are great. All right, so my list. Some general fruits. We have apples, bananas, blueberries, grapes, oranges, peaches, pears, strawberries, and watermelons. Same thing as fruit. Your daily average is dependent on those factors. And you should be trying to get 1.5 cups per day. Now, if you're someone who doesn't really like fruit or you find it hard to get into your daily diet, some easy ways to incorporate fruit is to have a smoothie. If you have a smoothie, you're more than likely going to be able to get that 1.5 cups per day in one drink. You can also, I am a big fan of this, I love putting fruit in my cereal, in my yogurt, in my oatmeal to make it a little bit more interesting. So if you're someone who struggles to get fruit into your diet, those are some tips to do that. All right, dairy. This one's a little bit different in how it is grouped. So here's some examples from your list. Yes.
Doritos.
I don't think Doritos would fall under there. That's a good guess, though. Milk. Yes.
Cheese.
Cheese, yes. Yogurt. All right, that's 3 that I'm going to take right there. So I have yogurt, cheese, milk. Soy milk is also considered in the dairy, and then ice cream and pudding, your classic desserts. The special thing about dairy is that it's based on how much calcium is in it. So cream cheese, butter, and cream are actually not considered in the dairy group because there's not enough calcium in them, even though they are made from milk products. So same daily average factors, and you want to get about 3 cups per day. Yes?
So ice cream is good for you, but not good for you?
In moderation, ice cream is good for you. Anything in moderation is fine, right? So if you need dairy, like if you have 1 scoop of ice cream, that's completely fine. Because you're going to get some protein, you're going to get some dairy out of that. It's just, if you eat too much of it, it's not as healthy for you. Does that make sense? All right, so you're going to want to get 3 cups per day. Now, the easiest way to do that, if you're a big milk person, you can have a cup of milk with each meal, and then you're set for the day. Some other ways to get it, through snacks. Yogurt's a good snack, and then just at the end of the night, if you want some ice cream or some pudding for dessert, have at it. All right, next, grains. Did anyone have any grains on their list? Yes.
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti, that's a good one. Toast.
Popcorn.
Popcorn. One more.
Pretzel.
Pretzels, yes, that would fall under greens. So this is a little bit more of a complicated definition, but it's basically anything made from wheat, rice, oats, cornmeal, barley, or another cereal grain. So you guys pretty much hit it out of the park. We have popcorn, rice, oatmeal, tortillas, bread. Those will all fall under your grains. So it's not based on cups, it's based on ounces. So you want about 5 to 6 ounces per day. And we're gonna, later on in the PowerPoint, I'm gonna show you what the equivalent of that would be. But usually your one serving for grains is gonna be about a cupped hand. So for each meal, if you want grains, it's gonna be about a cupped hand. Does anyone have any questions about grains? Yes?
I thought nuts were a grain.
No, nuts are actually gonna fall under our next food group, okay? Yes.
The tacos be grain.
Tacos
They're
would.
similar because they're similar to tortillas.
Yes, tacos would be great. These are just some general examples. So basically, anything. So corn tacos would be under that cornmeal. So that would be a grain too.
Okay.
All right, awesome. Next one. So we're gonna look at protein next. Did anyone have any protein in their breakfast? All the way in the back.
Beans.
Beans, yes, that's a great example.
Nuts.
Nuts, yes.
Bacon.
Bacon, yes, that's some meat. One more.
Eggs.
Eggs, perfect. So what we have here on my list, meats. So when it says meats, that's going to be like your red meat, so your steak and your beef. Poultry is going to be your chicken and your turkey. Then we have seafood, so like any kind of shrimp, any kind of fish. Eggs, nuts and seeds, and beans and peas. I want to point this out because beans and peas are also under your vegetable food group, okay? You don't have to eat meat to get your protein. vegetarians can reach their protein goals just as easily as someone who eats meat every day. Because think about it. Cows, what do they eat? Grass, right? That's a vegetable right there. So all the meat that you're eating, they're getting their strength and their protein from vegetables.
So we can eat grass.
You could eat grass technically, yeah. If you wanted to. It might not be that tasty, but you can. So our daily average here is going to be about 5 ounces. So who here goes to Longhorn Steakhouse and gets the 8-ounce steak? Yeah. So that's already your whole daily average right there. So for meat, your daily average isn't going to be as big as something as you might get at the restaurant. Okay. So now we have our 5 food groups. We have veggies, fruits, grain, protein. What's the last one? Dairy. Perfect. All right, so this is just a little tip for everyone. So we're going to go over some serving sizes. So for meat, let me see everyone's palm. This is how big your meat should be at each meal, okay? So that's probably going to be, you can get a small steak this size, you can get a small chicken breast this size, that's going to be your serving size. For veggies, let me see your fist. So if you're looking to have a serving of veggies with your meal or as a snack, use your fist as how big your serving should be. Carbs, like I said, that cupped hand, let me see that. So that's probably going to be, you're most likely going to do that with your dried carbs before they're cooked. We're not going to put our cooked spaghetti in our hand. And then lastly, this is for fats. So the example that I want you to think about is peanut butter. So if you're scooping out some peanut butter, it's going to be about the size of your thumb, okay? Does that make sense for everybody? Yes?
Did you know, like in the little ladle thing when you do spaghetti, like the little circle in the middle, did you know that's one serving of pasta, so you put it in the middle and then it's one?
Oh, for like when you do like angel hair or something?
Yeah.
I did not know that. That's really cool. Does anyone have any questions before we move on to the next? Yes?
What group would water go under?
So water is kind of its own thing because it doesn't really have any nutritional value. It's kind of its own section. So you should be getting, I think, at least 2 to 4 cups of water a day. All right, so I'm going to bring it back to what we talked about earlier. Why what we eat is important. So why eating right is important. I have right in apostrophes for a reason. So good nutrition is an important part of leading a healthy lifestyle. Combined with physical activity, what you eat can help you reach and maintain a healthy weight. It can reduce your risk of chronic diseases like heart disease and cancer, and it can promote your overall health. If you eat better, you're going to feel better. I have right up here in these apostrophes because eating right is going to look different for every person. Who here eats meat? Is there anyone that doesn't like meat? Who here likes vegetables?
It depends.
Right. So everyone has different preferences. So what you eat every day is going to look different. For someone who eats meat, their plate is going to look different than a vegetarian. So there is not a one-size-fits-all diet for every single person. So if someone tells you, oh, you should be eating more meat, that's not necessarily true. It's just dependent on how your body responds to certain foods and what you like. So does anyone know what celiac disease is? Has anyone heard of it?
I think so.
You've heard of it? So basically it's like you can't really eat gluten. So that means you can't really eat breads and grains and all that kind of stuff. So someone who has celiac disease isn't going to be able to have pasta every night for dinner like, say, you might, okay? So I just want to emphasize that no nutrition plan is one size fits all. So we're going to go online real quick. I want to show you my plate. Now my plate is where I got all of my information for this PowerPoint. It's a really good resource. It's straight from the US government, so it is trustworthy. We're gonna see if this pulls up. Okay, so this is the MyPlate website. Here's your 5 food groups. This is where I got all of my information from. So we're just gonna look at the fruits. I wanna show you something specific. So how many of you, so it said that we should be getting, I wanna say, about 2 cups a day of fruit. How many of you know what actually, if fruit isn't cut up, what a cup of fruit looks like? Does anyone? Okay. I want to show you something because honestly, I don't even know. Unless it's cut up and I put it into a measuring cup that says 1 cup, I couldn't tell you what exactly 1 cup of fruit looks like. So this MyPlate shows you that. Cup of fruit table. If you just click right here, it'll show you the equivalent. So amount of fruit that counts as 1 cup. So for an apple, if you have a small apple, that's 1 cup right there. So if you have 2 small apples throughout the day, you're gonna meet your daily goal for fruit, okay? Let's move down a little bit. A banana, a large banana is equivalent to 1 cup. And the list goes on and on. So you have grapes, oranges. It shows you, so if you're interested in actually trying to meet your daily goals and you want to just have like a whole fruit and you want to know how much that is, you can use this as a resource. All right, so next we're gonna go over to the green section. If we can get there. We're gonna go over to the green section because that wasn't in cups, right? What was that in? Your daily average. Ounces, right? Your meat and your grains are gonna be in daily ounces. And let's go to grains. All about the grains group. All right, so 1 ounce equivalent of a grains table. So we should be getting 5 to 6 ounces of grains per day. So this table will show you if it loads for me. Let's try to refresh this. All right, let's bring it back up. Grains are a little bit easier to do because you can measure them out in a cup, and for the most part, you're going to do that. But in case you ever do need to do that, they have this chart for you. And it doesn't seem to like me today. So we're gonna try it with, we'll see if we can get it with the protein, and if not, we're gonna move on to the next part of our activities, which is, it's not gonna work. So we're gonna move on to a little game, which is also on MyPlate. So MyPlate has so many resources for you to use that are user-friendly, they're kid-friendly, and there's so many things that you can use to learn about your food groups, about eating healthy, about getting the certain parts of your diet. All right, so blast off. This is a game about planning out your meals for the day. So the general basis of this game is that we have to fuel ourselves enough to be able to blast off into space, okay? So we have to fuel ourselves through breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. And we have to have a certain amount of activity level. So can anyone tell me about how many minutes a day of activity you should be getting? Yes. 60, perfect. So in this game, we need 60 minutes of activity on top of our food. So we're just going to use my information. And then we're going to go in. So here's the mission briefing. So we have to fuel up my MyPlate spaceship with smart food choices and 60 minutes of physical activity to fly to planet Power. So for the breakfast, I'm just going to put in generally what I would eat so you get a sense of how this works. And then for my lunch, snacks, and dinner, You are going to help me plan what I'm going to eat, okay? So here at the bottom, we have our 5 food groups. We have to make these arrows get all the way to green. That means that we've reached our goal for the day, okay? So for breakfast, I'm gonna start, let's look. I always have a banana with breakfast, so where would that go? Fruits, awesome. So that's 3/4 cups of fruits right there. I'm gonna add that to my fuel tank. What else do we have up here? Milk, I usually have chocolate milk with breakfast. So where would that go? Dairy, awesome. Don't be afraid to shout it out. So that's 1 cup of dairy. Let's see, do they have, maybe I'll have some cereal, because they don't have my usual eggs up here. So I'm gonna have some cereal. What would that fall under? Grains, awesome. So that's 1 ounce of grains. So I'm already 1/5 of the way for my grains. Up. I selected a whole grain. Great job. Does anyone know why that's important? Yes. Okay. So whole grains are important because it helps with your digestion and it helps reduce chronic diseases. So half of your grain intake should be whole grains. And let's put one more thing in my breakfast. Why don't we get some yogurt here? Alright, so that's going to be some more dairy. Alright, so let's look down at our fuel tank. Dairy, I'm almost set for the day. I have my fruits and my grains. So what do I still need for lunch and dinner? Yes? Vegetables and protein, awesome. Alright, so before we move on to our next meal, let's do some activity. What kind of activity should we do? We're going to do 30 minutes of activity. You say baseball?
Basketball.
Basketball. It's a good choice. It's very realistic. Alright, so we're going to do 30 minutes of basketball. We're going to add that to the battery. Now, how many of you love to just go eat a meal after you go outside and play?
Then you need a snack.
You want a snack first?
Yeah, I need a snack.
No, I play and then I get a snack.
So you want to do a snack instead of a meal? Yes. Alright, we're going to do a snack then. Alright, so what do we want for our snack?
Beef jerky.
Beef? I'm hearing a lot of beef jerky.
I think you should
We're going to do some beef jerky, alright.
bar.
So our beef jerky, that's going to get us some protein. So that's 1 ounce of protein. Now, I need something more than beef jerky. I need something else to go with the beef jerky. I eat a lot of
Fruit, carrots, cookies.
Now, we need some veggies, right?
Carrots.
If we want veggies, I think we're going to go with the carrot sticks, okay? Alright, that's going to get us half a cup. Do we want ranch with it?
Yeah.
It makes it unhealthy.
We need some blue cheese.
Don't add.
Alright, we're going to add that to the fuel tank. Alright, so now looking at us. We got some vegetables, we got some protein, but we still have a long way to go, alright? So now, we're going to go to lunch. So let's look down here. We need fruits. We pretty much need everything. So what do we want to eat?
Taco.
Let me get someone to raise their hand.
Spaghetti.
Right here. Taco, alright.
It's not Tuesday.
No, spaghetti.
That's okay, tacos are okay. Whoa, look at that. A taco got you pretty much everything except for fruits. Alright, so we got grains, veggies, dairy, and protein. So I think that was a good choice. Alright, so what do we want with our taco?
Definitely.
What do we want on the side?
Green.
Orange.
A veggie
Some apples.
Apple, we want an apple.
Cut up apple.
Awesome, I love apples. Alright, that's going to get us another cup of fruit. And you know why that was a good choice? Because what didn't we get in the taco? Fruit. We didn't get fruit in the taco, so that's another way to get it. Oh, look at that. We have enough fruits. And I don't think we should eat any more because we might overdo it, okay? So we reached our daily goal. So let's try to get the rest of these. So I need a drink.
No, we need veggie milk.
No, not milk.
You get milk.
Orange juice.
Milk.
To finish off the dairy.
Just some milk, okay?
Don't you get French fries?
Alright. We're going to add that to our fuel tank. Uh-oh.
See?
I've chosen 2 low-fat, fat-free foods. Good job. Awesome.
That's good.
All right, we're done with dairy. So we're gonna, before we eat dinner, we're gonna get our last 30 minutes of activity, okay? So what do we want to do? Let me see a hand.
Climbing the stairs.
Sixth grade. Let me see a hand. Green t-shirt.
Soccer.
Soccer. Let's see if we have it on here.
Climbing the stairs.
Football.
You passed soccer.
Oh, I passed it?
Yeah. Wait, just stay.
Oh, we had someone raise their hand and say soccer, so we're gonna do soccer, all right?
Skateboarding?
All right, we're gonna do that for 30 minutes. And what will that get us?
60 minutes.
That will get us our 60 minutes. Perfect. All right. So we've achieved an activity. We fully charged our activity battery. So now we have dinner. So now we have to think about what we need.
Beef.
We need these three in the middle.
We need beef. Steak.
So what do we want for our protein?
Hamburger.
Right here.
Steak.
Steak?
Steak.
Steak. Okay. We're going to put that in. That's 4 ounces of protein right there. That is a lot of protein.
That's it.
That should put us over.
Yes.
Look at that. Oh wow, yeah, that put us all the way to that. We're really pushing our limits over here. All right. So now we still need veggies and grains. So what kind of vegetable do we want? Right here.
Corn.
Corn. Let's see if we have corn.
That's just starch.
No, potatoes are starch.
Starches are vegetables. Remember, we have starchy vegetables. So I don't see any broccoli. Okay, we're gonna do broccoli.
Spinach.
All right, that's half a cup.
Spinach.
All right, we still need some more veggies.
Spinach.
Yes.
I think that for veggies, we should do a nice side spinach salad.
Okay. Let's see what that'll get us. That might get us some more protein too, though. So hopefully we don't go too far over. All right, that's gonna get us some greens and some veggies. We're gonna add that to our fuel tank.
And some protein.
All right, so veggies, we are good. So we need grains. What do we see up there that can get us there?
A whole wheat dinner roll.
Right here.
Yeah,
Whole wheat dinner roll.
You eat that much bread.
7 people at the same
It's a lot
time.
of bread.
Hopefully that gets us over.
It's a lot of
Add some butter and salt.
Oh, we're not quite there yet.
You should
Well,
have.
we need a big dinner, or do we want to go back to our snacks and maybe add a snack? Add a snack?
Pretzels.
All right.
Cookies.
Let me see a hand. Let me see a hand. Right here.
Graham crackers.
Graham crackers. Good choice. I love graham crackers. 1 ounce of grain. That should get us over the top. And it does. Okay. Are we ready to blast off? Yes. Okay. Let's see if we get up there.
Why is this spaceship like this?
Yeah.
Well, it's in the stomach. It's a rainbow.
Oh,
It's like an alien saucer.
I didn't see that.
It looks like a flying saucer.
Did we get there?
Yeah.
We made it! Awesome job, everybody. So that means
you get a degree.
we made it because we achieved our daily goals of the 5 food groups and because we got our 60 minutes of activity, okay? Something that I want to point out, when we made our meals, did we necessarily have all 5 food groups at one meal? No, right? You don't have to, like if you're someone who does not eat a lot of food, like if your stomach just does not like eat a lot of food at once, you can achieve your food groups throughout the day, through snacks, through the meals. You don't necessarily have to eat all 5 at once, okay? So, since we just did that as a group, we made our own meal plan. Our next activity, we're gonna build your own meal, okay? So, I'm gonna hand everyone a little calendar. I wanna show you this. This is the My Plate, just to give you a visual of how you could potentially break down your plate if you wanted to achieve all 5 food groups in one meal. I'm gonna give you a calendar. We're gonna start on Monday. We have breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. I want you to map out a day of food, okay? So if you wanna write down what you have for breakfast, that's fine. If you wanna make a new breakfast. But my goal for you is to try and reach your goals for each 5 food groups, okay? So through your meals and snacks, try to get all 5 food groups. And my other task for you, when you write out your meals, I want you to group the food like we did earlier, group it into each food group. So if you have eggs for breakfast, what's that going to be grouped with? Protein. Awesome. Okay, so for each food that you put down there, I want you to put whether it's a protein, whether it's a veggie, whether it's a fruit, okay? You may work with a partner if you need some help grouping them. But this should take us, we're going to take the next like 5 minutes, 5-6 minutes to do this. And then we're going to bring it back and I'm going to ask for an example of each meal. You're welcome. And if you have any questions, just raise your hand and I will come help you out. Yes?
So do we have to do original?
No, we're just going to look at Monday because today's Monday, okay? And I want you to keep these in case you do want to plan out other days of the week. That's why I gave you a whole week calendar.
What would pancakes be?
Pancakes. They're great. Think about it. It's like flour and stuff.
For dinner, I could have like 7
They have food science.
7, there you go. Does everyone have a sheet? You can be creative and make some new meals, but if you just want to write what you usually have and then try to get your food groups through maybe some new snacks and stuff like that, that's completely fine. Yes.
Or should I put down yogurt? Because I do.
You can just write yogurt. Okay. Because it's going to fall under the same category anyway. It's a good breakfast. Here, you can try, just do for Monday, okay? So do breakfast for Monday, then lunch, and then if you want to use the rest of the week once you're done, you can do that. I want you to focus on Monday so you get all your meals and snacks done. Yes. You can do whatever you want. So if you write maybe you write just like, so that would be great. Maybe just write the G next to it. If it doesn't fit, just write like a little note that you know what it is, okay? Yes.
What has butter? Butter?
It's kind of dairy, but it's not dairy. Right, remember what I said earlier about how dairy is calcium, and because butter doesn't have that, it would technically fall under fats, which we didn't talk about. Because that's not one of the like okay. So just talk about, just say what the toast is with, right? Yes. New salad. That's what this is about. I want you to make up your own. So you can base it off of what you've already eaten, and then you can plan out a dinner that could help you reach your goal. Okay? No, okay, 6th grade, hold up. Since a few of you are getting a little confused by this, I just want you to complete Monday. So starting on Monday, we should be doing breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks, okay? We don't have to go breakfast for the whole week. We're just going down on Monday. Is that clear? Okay.
Oh no, seltzer with water.
Remember when we had the taco in our meat? Yeah, so it depends what you put in it. What do you usually put in it?
I got fries, chicken nuggets, and then I got chicken
Okay,
nuggets.
so let's think about it. The taco itself, that's going to be what? The green. And then you have the meat. That's going to be what? Protein, cheese, what's that? Yes, and then tomatoes and that. There you go. So you can just write the first letter. So write like green. So G, so you don't have to write on the whole thing.
Chicken, I think you're barely
Yes. If you want. If you can fit it. Or if you know it, you get it, then you can just mark what group you want without having to write it out. So like if you know that you put veggies, if you know that you put, just where you know, just write like milk, water. Okay. Well, as long as you get it. I'm gonna give you one more minute, okay? One more minute, and then we're gonna bring it up and we're gonna write up some examples, okay? That's okay. That's why we're learning how to do this, so that you can think about like when you should be down. Maybe I should try to get through here because I usually don't. Right? You know what I mean? Like that.
I just added that's like I just added
30 seconds. It's okay if you don't finish it because you have a whole week that you can fill out at home.
It's like bubbly water.
I have the worst
All right, we're gonna bring it up front. So for breakfast, if you have a birthday in the winter and you would like to share your breakfast, raise your hand. You have only one birthday in the winter over here? Okay. What did you have for breakfast?
A cheese omelet, milk, and some carrots.
Cheese omelet, milk, and carrots? Oop, I can't spell milk. And what did you classify that under? What food groups did we meet?
Dairy, vegetables,
Dairy,
and then the omelet was protein and dairy.
perfect, protein and dairy. All right, so look at that. We got we got 3 food groups just at breakfast, okay? So now we're gonna move on to lunch. If you have a birthday in the spring and you would like to share your lunch, raise your hand. Yes.
Turkey sandwich and apple and butter.
Turkey sandwich. What kind of bread? Did you get whole grains or white? So what was after the turkey sandwich?
Apple and peanut butter.
Apples and peanut butter. So what did you classify them as?
The apple is
The fruit. Perfect.
turkey sandwich, protein,
Yep, you get your protein from the turkey and grain from the bread. Perfect. And then peanut butter we didn't really talk about as much, but what did you classify it as?
protein.
Yes, you are going to get protein from peanut butter. It is also considered a fat. We didn't talk about fats and oils today, but it would also be considered a fat. So, for dinner, we're going to come over here. If you have a birthday in the summer and you would like to share your dinner. Yes. Pizza. Is that all you had?
And hot dog and a burger.
Oh, you eat a lot. Hot dog and a burger. All right, so what do we classify it as?
Junk food.
Okay, well, what food groups?
Protein.
So protein we're going to get from the hot dog and the burger.
Let's take a pizza.
What did we get for the pizza? We get a few things from the pizza.
Dairy.
Yep, we get dairy from the cheese. What do we get from the crust?
Grain.
Grains, perfect. And what about the sauce? What is the sauce usually made out of? Tomatoes, right?
Wouldn't it be fruit?
So veggie.
Fruit.
That we're keeping tomatoes as a vegetable, okay? All right, last one. Snack. If you have a birthday in the fall and you would like to share your snack, one snack. Yes.
Goldfish.
Goldfish. What would that get us? What would that get us?
Dairy. Protein.
Almost.
Grain.
Grains. Perfect. All right. So we have veggies, we have dairy, we have grains, we have protein, and we have fruit. So we at least got a piece of each 5 food groups, okay? So just to finish up, we're gonna skip this because we only have a minute left. These are just some, you can get this on my plate. There's some tips for snacks. So what are my 5 food groups? Just let me hear it. Awesome. How many, 6th grade, how many should we be eating with each meal? Do we have to eat all 5? Yes. No. We do not have to eat all 5. Are we supposed to eat the same amount of each food group every day? No, it varies based on what? How active you are, how old you are, and whether you're a boy or a girl.
Correct.
And why is what we eat important?
So we